Hello, everyone, and welcome to the stream. Welcome to the close for Tuesday. It looks like it's a much better day on the markets for many out there. If you were looking at yesterday's support and thinking, what a great buying opportunity, then you're probably happy today. If you didn't, you're probably a little bit sad. But look, we saw so many supports. Technical analysis is obviously what we do here on the channel. If you like that type of stuff, remember to subscribe and, of course, give us a thumbs up to start off the stream. We're in the literal Christmas week. So will Santa come to town? Looks like he maybe already is starting to. And we've got some good stats, some good information coming out today. And in realistic terms, we've had some really nice technical analysis. So we obviously saw that little double bottom happen. We suspected we would open up with the Sp500 and we would open exactly where we did, which is previous support acting as resistance, stuffed around this area a little bit, and it is cleanly broken above. So this is a very important zone. Obviously a great closure for it. Some people will be saying, but shouldn't we fill the gap down here? I think that gap can be filled at some other later date. Yeah, it's a good day, guys. It's not bad at all in the market. You guys happy? Is everyone happy or people a bit sad? Let's have a look what the chat's saying. We've got Ocam's Razor saying, morning, Tom. Good morning, Finkin79. The new color for Christmas is green. That's right. Trio says, ho, 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 F the puts. Yes, that's true. And then we've got Randy Manning says, good day. I still check my stocks every day, but following this channel, I don't get emotional anymore. That's pretty much what you need to do, Randy. You are literally starting to approach what it takes to be in the market for a long period of time. Emotionality doesn't have any real, there's no real benefit in having it in the stock market. You end up getting destroyed, and you don't really want to do that. Okay, let's have a think about what's happening here in these important closures coming in. So what do we suspect for Wednesday? Firstly, I'll ask the community. What do you guys think? What do you think happens on Wednesday? We've got a pretty nice closure coming in here for a couple of stocks. Do you think Wednesday is up, down, all around? What are your thoughts? Let us know right now, and then I'll answer some of the questions that you might have. Hi, Greg says, hi, Tom. Is Santa coming? Santa is coming, potentially, yeah. And then Glenn says a decent green day. And of course, Scott Morgan says, I think the market is messing with us and just tracking the global COVID cases. I doubt it. But yeah, I understand it. I understand what you're saying, Scott. But I think it's just a lot of manipulation and the standard FUD that comes in. All right, so a lot of people are saying up, 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 and quite a few people are saying flat, and I do tend to think flat down. So let's bring up a stat here. This is the stat for all of the growth. I'll put it on the channel today so you guys can have it, but this is a stat here of what happens when we get those gap percentages down. So average next day, you'll notice, is actually very, very high. So when we have that gap down, 70 gap downs on Monday, average next day is very, very high. And then what you tend to find, I think, is that once you have such a huge return, sometimes it does keep ramping, but you do sometimes have like a bit of a sideways to slightly down day, just because we've got to remember and put in perspective what just happened. We had basically a 3% switch. On some markets, we've had a 4% switch. So if we look at this, bottom to top, 3%, IWM, a huge amount as well. I think sideways could certainly be in for the action here to slightly down. Now, I'm not saying hugely down, but you've got to be prepared. Something like this could certainly occur. So the closure here for the Nasdaq, let's go over to the NDX, have a look where it's going to close. It's closing around resistance at this point. We've got some support over here, kind of a little bit of support, resistance, 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 and then this zone or this area is a 50. Not that that matters too much. We know there's the daily 20 just here. So I could see it kind of struggling around this area and then breaching through. There are some more interesting markets than even the Nasdaq, though, at this stage. So the Nasdaq's done well. It certainly looks bullish. I think we've put the base in. Seasonality, cool vibes, Christmas, all those types of things. I hope that we actually are now at the great point. But let's take a look at IWM, because I think this market is one of the better ones to be looking at right now. We've got that 220. Day traders would have rejoiced on this one. It was a pretty easy trade. It actually gapped above instantly and showed the momentum play through from that bullish hammer or pin bar rejection. We then came down slightly, So we gapped above, came down slightly, gave the entry, and then ramped off. And that was a pretty good intraday trade. I mean, anyone in this type of one for today could have been upwards of about 2.89%, which is a huge amount on an index. So yes, the Russell 2000 is looking much, much better. It's finding that support. Put it in perspective, weekly still needs to close above the 50 moving average, which it looks like it will be. Daily 20, we know that's the resistance. Look at this. Bam, slams into it, sell off. What happens here? If it breaches, so 220 is going to be the resistance for many. Maybe even in the next day, it goes 220 and then sells off a little bit. But once that breaches, next stop, this resistance up here, I'll pop them in. And after that, it's really happy days for IWM. So there's some great levels coming up. We've obviously got the 220, which is a target now. You would think this does try to reach. And then once it gets past that, you got 226, 225, and then this zone, bam. That's where it gets exciting for the Russell. Amazon is waking up. Yeah, well, the FANG is waking up in general. You'll notice Apple was weaker before. The FANG is not what I would call well priced right now, though. So just remember, my belief is the FANG could be actually sideways. It's the hypers that are actually looking most interesting now. Scott Morgan, $5. Tom, thank you very much, Scott, as per usual. Took a short position in TGT after the confirmed double top for my Xmas present. Will you close out your short position in DKNG for me? Yeah. That's all right. I only remember you asked me what I had to do that day. Remember, Scott? You said I had to short, trade, and hold something. So we're happy to close the DKNG. We'll check out DKNG very soon, Scott. Thank you very much for the donation. But we'll check it out. Look, I believe in your DKNG, okay? And I think the price is not bad. All right, IWM 220. We know the levels. We like it very much. SPX, we'll go back over to that just for one section here. So any pullbacks that are occurring, where do we expect big buying pressure to occur now that we've cracked through? Of course, 4610, 4600. That's where the big buyers are going to come back in. We'll just quickly detail the smaller time frames. Closure does look relatively solid here. Movement up to the 4664. Little bit of problems around here. Again, similar to IWM, it's probably where we're going to reach the 220 at the same time. And then if we get through there, well, happy days. That's very, very good big stance. And all big bull traders into the end of the year, if we're not around for it for whatever reason, remember, once you close a daily above here, the R2 becomes open, and that's 4,800. So that's actually our aim. It has maintained to be our aim into the end of the year, into the 31st. Will we get exactly 4,800? I'm not sure, but that certainly was the aim for the bulls for this month. So 4,800 monthly R2, certainly a good pivot to go towards. Breach. Once you breach that, 4,800 becomes very, very, very clean level. A lot of people will like this kind of pattern formation as well. It does look quite strong. It would be better if it was on the full bullish side, but you've got that kind of gap down, gap up, and a rejection. This is the type of thing that we like to see as well from a fairly strong pattern side. All right, let's have a look at DKNG and some of the hypers for Scott and others. So let's check those out. We'll start off with DKNG. Now, DKNG this is DraftKings for anyone that doesn't know. It's in a massive downtrend. We know this. It's very hard to predict the end of a downtrend straight away and say, oh, yes, we're putting in the base. Let's put it in perspective, though. Let's go to the weekly. So the weekly isn't showing us too much. You can tell. You go to the daily, long leg doji in the previous session. You would say decision made, of course, today. Plus, it's above all these previous basing formations. We do have the daily 20 moving average here. We know we're going to place a double bottom at $34-ish. So this will be a very important zone. I mean, if it breaches through here, Scott and many other people in the crowd will be very happy. Many people in the chat will be excited about that one. So we'll certainly check that out. But yeah, this is still in a downtrend, and I think you need to remember that. Some people may have even aggressive trend lines on the way down, looking at something like this and saying, well, we've broken that first kind of aggressive downtrend. Yeah, that's fine if you want to do that. But just remember, this is more of a stage one recovery. So this is where a lot of traders should practice scaling concepts as they're getting into a recovery. Otherwise, you get burnt up and you will get a lot of false signals. And that will most likely protect you from making poor decisions in the future. So scaling, scaling, scaling. We talk about it a lot on the channel. If you like scaling, remember, smash that like button, because I think not enough traders and not enough YouTubers talk about the idea of getting into trades over time and rewarding trades that do very well. Timmy says, can you show us the put and call walls for December 23rd expiration on Apple? Yep, I can grab that. If you want to ever get the put and call walls, you can do so. 7-day free trial in the private community. We've got the robot set up in there, and you can jump in and grab it for any of your stocks that you're looking at. And you want it for what date? 23rd expiration for Apple. Okay, we can chuck that in right now. 23rd. Excuse me. All right, so it's just a whole bunch of calls. There we are. Basically, looks like there's a lot of calls sitting around 170, 175, and 180. So predominantly, you would think that Apple would try to hold underneath those zones. Now, it's currently trading at, if we can go back over to it, where were we? Let's just go back to this. Apple is trading currently at around 172.50. So even if Apple kind of hovered here, that would be pretty good for their expiration. Remember, you only want to use put call walls in very certain situations. So just, it's not every single week. I like this one. Silverliner says, I love scaling except for the one I stand on. I'm with you there, Silverliner, at the moment. Especially after Christmas, yeah, with all the family coming around. Anoop Sonpa says, hi, Tom. Can you please look at Barber? Any signs of recovery? Look, there isn't. I mean, at this stage, yes, I know it's up a lot of percentage, but Barber has to actually recover, and the recovery isn't going to happen. I mean, it doesn't change day to day, guys. Get through this. Get through these previous resistance breaks. You need a 127 plus. So any sign? Sure. I mean, you're getting the beginning of a lightning bolt, but you've got to get through 127. Actually show us a sign of recovery. There hasn't happened yet. So nothing changes here on Barber or anything like that. Scott Morgan says, what happened to gold being an inflation hedge? Don't worry about that. It's not really a thing. Shouldn't it be thriving right now? Thoughts? No. I don't really think gold is an inflation hedge. It's just, gold does whatever gold wants to do. It's mostly a manipulation currency or commodity in this case. So, look, gold should actually be stronger than it is. But if you look at the chart here, it's mostly a huge amount of rejections, which is very nasty, actually. Every time it's rallying, it's going down. Maybe this is the year you don't get that kind of December, January run. Well, so far, we haven't seen anything in December, which is quite unfortunate. But the price action is not showing it to us. What can you do? You can't really do much about that. If we go over to a few other stocks, I guess it's worthwhile just having a quick look here at some other stocks that we've got open. We have some that are starting to breach potentially towards the upside. So, we've got some here that are looking a little bit better. These are in the hypers. I mean, some of these stocks are down fairly hard over the long term, and they're starting to show that sign of, okay, can we get the lightning bolt in place? First stage of recovery, lightning bolt, things are looking a lot better for these types of stocks. So no matter which one of these stocks you're looking at, they all pretty much are showing it. Take two, very good trade. This is fantastic. I actually mentioned Twilio yesterday in the video. I meant take two for whatever reason. But anyway, here's the inverse head and shoulders we discussed. And it's a very, very nice trade. And it shows you, again, through this sector, there's been some nice improvements. Even probably Activision. I mean, you look at the Activision, it's coming good as well. I don't even like the stock. I rant about it all the time. At these prices, it's hard not to like it. But yeah, there's been some good movements here in some of the hated sectors. Any iron ore companies, biotech's improving. You've got a lot of disliked gaming sectors doing much, much better in the period when they usually tend to do so. So very nice. Square coming 7.15%. Not enough yet for Square. Still in a mostly downtrending market. And you'll notice that it's no matter what trend line you draw, this thing is mostly downtrend. For longer term Square kind of hodlers, have you hit a level? You're starting to get very, very fair valuation. But I think a lot of that fair valuation comes from the fact they overpaid for Afterpay. It's a big one. PK Subbin says Beam looking good. It's breaking out and holding. Correct, PK. And in fact, that's across all of the Christmas style stocks. They have improved. Joseph de Sousa says $4.99. Hey, Tom, thoughts on Okta waiting for a close above 244? Thanks. Well, I haven't actually heard that one for a while. So let's have a look at Okta. Waiting for 244. Don't think you have to wait that long. But I get it. You're waiting for the resistance. Yeah, pretty much around this area is correct. Look, with a stock like this, you've got to say, what are you actually trying to do? Are you trying to invest in it or trade it? So a trader will wait for this. They'll also potentially even like today's closure here because it's above those previous resistances. This is like one of those ones where some people will practice scaling techniques depending on their systems. And you have already got a very nice support. It's effectively a giant channel, yeah? So you've got your supports, you've got your resistances, you know where your kind of target's going to be, most likely in that top resistance, maybe leave a bit on it for going longer. But yes, it's done the right thing. Take a look at the weekly as well. And this is where, not enough traders do this, not enough investors, or I guess less experienced people don't do it. Think about the story so far. What's the story showing us on the weekly? We've hit the supports, but this time it's a little different. Volume's pretty good. We also have wick rejection, and some follow through action. So before we even get to the 244, let's say we see a nice closure like here come the end of the week. Do I think that looks strong for Okta? Yes, because it's breaching all the previous closes and it gives you a tick on a very high time frame that there's been a huge movement in cash. It's a big deal. It's what I actually go into this heavily in, again, the private group mentoring. We're done in Jan, by the way, guys. If anyone's interested in it, message me for Feb. It's really game changer. There's a few people here that have done it. I don't have time to do it in obviously the free sessions. It's very intensive. It's 8 weeks. It's pretty good. But yeah, this is one of the things that you want to be looking at from a structured space perspective. The difference between a good trader, a bad trader, and a really bad trader isn't as much as you think. It's certain nuanced trade styles that when you see them, the stats are based in your favor. And it is based on multi-time frame analysis and many actionable data and many other things. SPY turning back down, someone said. Look, SPY coming back down is absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with it. If we go to the 2 hour, again, where's our expectation for the next session? Bang, bang. That's what we want. Nothing wrong with this. Nothing at all wrong with this. Koa says, at FX Evolution, what is the time commitment for the course? Can someone work full time and still participate? Oh, absolutely. The private group mentoring's 1.5 hours a week, plus 45 minutes of I guess you would say homework, which is optional, but I would recommend you do it. Yeah, it's designed for people that look, trading, investing, all these types of things. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Yeah. So the way you want to think about it is if you're a part-time trader and you're working, you really need capital. I mean, no one's going to tell you that people always say, oh, turn $1,000 into $1 million. Look at how great I am. Well, yeah, but what kind of risk did that person take? They took epic risk at the beginning. Yeah. What you're better off doing is saying, okay, I've got, let's say whatever it is. Let's say it's $100. Let's say it's $1,000. That's good. You've got a starting point. You still have to work for the time being. And then as you're building capital, you're rewarding your account because you're making money in the account. You're rewarding it with money that you're saving from work. And that compound growth together with your percentages is what builds your account. This idea of going to $1,000 to $1 million, it's all cool and everything, but you got to be a realist sometimes. How many people really get that done? Not many. And the risks that they took on the first 1,000 to 100,000 is usually quite high. And the problem with that risk is if you continue it through your trading, then you will end up stuffing it on the big amount of money. Think about how many friends you've had in trading and even gambling. And what they'll say to you is they'll tell you all about their wins, and then all of a sudden they'll go quiet for a while. Or even you'll go quiet for a while when something happens like that. Anyone in the chat know what I'm talking about? I like YouTubers say turn 0 to 1,000,000 0 times any number is 0. Okay. Yeah. In other words, it's better to have your meals throughout the day rather than 4 meals in one go. I guess so, yes. You would probably do that. Marvin the Martian says homework takes more time than Tom says, though, if you really want to do it properly. That would be true. Yeah, maybe the homework would take 2 to 3 hours. But you could do 45 minutes if you wanted to, Dave, and still get the idea. Randy Manning, $4.99. RKT, happy holidays. Well, let's have a look. We've got about 8 minutes till the close. We'll go through some stocks. We'll do some rapid fire analysis of anything that's improving. If you've got something that actually has good base formation on it, let us know in the chat right now. And if enough people have found the right thing, we'll do it for a freebie. We'll check it out. RKT here. We're getting a question coming in. It's pretty bad, I got to say. I don't want to tell you it's fantastic because it doesn't look fantastic. Oh, wow. I mean, there was like some basing over here and that looked a little bit better. Ugh. I mean, I wouldn't trade this. This is what I would call trade bait, as in like retail traders might trade it. It is more of an investment stock. It has no history or very little history. It's worth $30 billion somehow. The problem with this stock is it's not a trading stock. It is an investing stock. If you like this particular stock from an investment perspective, sure, but it will not act technically like you want it to. Remember that. Technical trades should be left on high volume, long-lasting stocks. That's where the TA works best. On this type of thing, it's a bit nasty. If you're looking at this, it just kind of looks like it's falling. I mean, it's broken a key support and it's down. If you breach past the key support again, things are improving. You've got that down, that series of lower peaks coming through. That's not exactly positive. Look, I wish I could tell you something else, but it kind of looks bearish. All right, let's see what people have here. Merry Xmas, Tom says salary man. You too, salary man. I don't know why. For some reason, I see salary man. I thought that salad fingers thing from years ago. Got Dr. S sending me A, B, C, L. It's a good basing formation, he says. Has anyone ever seen that scary salad fingers thing? I'm pretty sure no one has. PayPal bottom forming. Yeah, we'll check PayPal out. All right, let's do rapid fire. We've got 6 minutes left. We'll do this one. I'll scroll through. We'll do Tesla in a second as well. Has this formed a good base formation? Let's go through some of the weekly analysis. So what have we got? We've got rejection. We've got nice bullish kind of movement. Long leg doji didn't do anything. Long leg doji, bullish hammer. Be the first week of actually nice uptick. It's not fantastical, but it's better than nothing, I guess. Volume has improved in recent days. It had a rejection, which has now gone bullish, and it's broken this resistance. So I guess, yes, it is okay. It's the first signs of recovery. Not too bad on this one. Not too bad. Certainly cheap compared to where it's been. Now, you guys will know I won't like this stock because it's been on the market pretty much only 1 year. And this is what happens sometimes. It comes in, everyone's like, woo, and then it goes bad. So you better be damn sure that you like it. It's a biotech. Biotech is risky at all times. You've got to really think about how much risk you're prepared to take. For anyone joining us for Bitcoin and crypto, don't worry. We're doing it after the market open. Michael H., $9.99. Private community membership has been super worth it. Thank you very much, Michael. I appreciate your support. And thanks for the questions as well. Like, you're getting a lot of feedback, and that's good to see. So thank you. Big things coming in 2022 for it as well. We've got some new announcements, some more updates per week that'll come from members of the community. It'll be good. Mark Wilkins says ARKG has a great base. Do you agree, Tom? I do. I do. I absolutely do. There is a reason I've discussed Cathie Wood's funds for the first time in a long time recently, and specifically things like ARKG. I totally agree with you. You've got resistance, resistance, resistance. The whole biotech technology. Look at the volumes there. But regardless of this, you look at the biotech technology sector, it is looking better. Stocks like Beam, which is heavily invested in, are doing better. Long leg doji, partially decision made, looking at a resistance, very good. Let's do some rapid fire. Let's go through some of your favorite stocks. PayPal Holdings, we've got a nice big support here, guys. About 4 minutes till the market closes. It's been a good day so far. So PayPal holding the base, up 3.44% today. We do have kind of a resistance just underneath this 200. If you go to a weekly, you're really going to get a bit of an idea of how important this zone is. We have rejection, we have long leg doji being indecision, and we have a really nice base formation. So we're going to continue watching PayPal because in some ways, inverted commas, deep value could be what we're looking at here. Deep value. RF Tac says yes. Great to have you here, by the way, RF Tac. Yes, here for the long haul since 2020. Great. And Victory Lau says exactly. Everyone only talks about their wins. Yeah, that's true. All right. NVIDIA double bottom. Let's have a look at NVIDIA for people. We'll do Tesla in a second as well. No double bottom just yet on the bigger time frame, but let's have a look at the 1 hour. So 1 hour improvement is there. And semiconductors is probably what I would look at in general. And semis are going very, very well. They're back in. So as we said, no false break. That is not a breakout to the downside. I detailed it in great detail. It's a big trap level. That's actually a super tip. If you watch yesterday's video, I mean a super tip. That's called patented advice. No, patented education, yeah, on that one. Because I've been caught out by it before. And then I realized, you can't treat it as a close when it goes bullish. Let's go through some other areas. We've got TDOC, nothing. We have Barber, we've done that one. Roku 1.66 still in base, for nothing really going on there. DKNG, Airbnb, nice big rally here back above. That's a big deal, getting back above the 161. Intel, how's it doing? Nothing much. Okay. Spotify, yep, getting close to that double bottom base. So you guys can see this is a big closure for it as well, above that rejection from the previous day and the downtrend. Spotify looking much better than it has done. Netflix in our zone of interest, definitely looking much better again on the charts. NVAX, I'm actually going to get rid of that for the time being because it's just floating all over the place. We don't really need it. PLTR, this stock actually based. You can tell it's really found a lot of support. So we'll find out whether that keeps going. Twitter, not enough for it yet. What else we got here? AMD was a request. AMD, all about the 147, is looking a lot better. Huge rally in it. This stock just is an animal when it goes hard. A lot of companies, I think Tesla's even put AMDs in their cars, haven't they? I mean, that's probably an old announcement, but yeah, that's a big thing. We've got Snap here, still looking terrible. Might have been dumped that for the time being. We'll clean up this list, see what's going on. Fubo, don't care. J&J, that's actually a pretty good support. You can see that previous resistance, really nice support. It's going to move slower than the hypers, but it is around there. Neo, dump that for the time being, get rid of it just because the chart's not as good as these others. DE's doing it sideways, we'll get rid of it. SWK, no point having it there. ABB, nope. CAT, we'll leave it and see what happens. And TAN, now this is the solar index. So this weekly, just remember, this is going to be pretty important to get back above. We'll find out what happens there at the weekly. TAN not doing its thing just yet. Chewy on support. And we've finished the market now. So we're at 8 o'clock my time, which is obviously closed for the market in America. And the US 500 again has closed incredibly well. Daily, just so you guys can see it, is quite nice. Quite nice indeed. Previous next session may have something like this. Resistance will be around that this level actually. 1 second, we'll get this modified. So resistance probably around here, and then it could actually sell off a little bit there. CRM, good bottom. Yep, CRM, Salesforce may have an okay base forming on it at some point. So we are basically on a roll reversal. Another one would be Crowd. So that's CrowdStrike Holdings. Check out that. Now that's a beauty. Really good. Look at this. I don't know why I didn't have that back on. I've been watching it quite strongly, actually. Bring that Crowd back over here. We'll put it next to net where it deserves to be. Look at this. Damn. You like that? I like that. Very, very nice on the daily. We scroll down to the 4 hour. Fantastic. Look. Oh, yes. Exactly the type of price action you want to see. Nice little bullish hammer coming into it. Obviously got our strong resistance. And we're looking for that 210 plus or 212 plus closure. Pretty good. Thank you again, Michael H. Scott Morgan, $5. Out of all the beaten down stocks, which are you most excited about for an investment? For me, it has to be PayPal. Yep. Okay. That's fair enough because PayPal has a very large kind of opportunity in it. I think stocks like this have always had my interest, all these cybersecurity stocks. I mean, you're looking at a 41% increase from current or from break to up. PayPal is relatively similar. It's probably more like 100% from bottom to top. So let's have a look at PayPal's return percentage if you got it correct. So you're looking at around 50% to 60%. But Crowd is known to be a bit of a beast in terms of growth. It's recently had some struggles. Volume's been up, but that base is fairly solid. This is not bad. From my personal opinion, you go and do whatever, of course, you like. It's got nothing to do with this particular trade. Net is also one that's very popular in the community. I've liked Cloudflare for a while. It's pretty ballistic both ways. Is this a good price? Oh, it's better than it has been. I tend to still think it could be expensive, but at least it's come back and gotten rid of all of its hyper psychoness. I wouldn't expect it to be up here. PayPal fallen 42% from its peak so far, so it will fall at least 50%. All right. Not sure where you're getting that one from, but yeah. VRNS. Like as in why it has to fall 50%, I'm not sure, but maybe it's got to do with the 50 fib of the whole thing. We'll see. All right. VRNS. This is not a company I'm familiar with that much. Varonis Systems, worth $5 billion. Sounds like it is in cybersecurity. Is that what you're saying? Don't think it's got necessarily a fantastic base on it. Small lightning bolt movement here on the small time frame. Yeah. STKL. Synopta. Oh, yes, that's much better. That is a hideous downtrend. But the signs are in for the recovery there. Yep. Or at least some of the signs, except for the weekly. That fell a lot. You might want to, I mean, you're basically trying to predict a very, very tight bottom, but you have waited for the correct type of stuff. 20 moving average has been breached for the first time, breached it here. Lightning bolt, some people call it double bottom with a rejection. It does look better. VRNS is a cybersecurity company, yes. Okay. But, well, it has to be a good one, though. We'll do BTC and ETH and stuff soon. PayPal dropped like a waterfall, must be a reason. So did Square. Competition in the field. And also a huge reprice on things that are massively PE'd out of control. MU Micron, please. I thought we looked at MU yesterday. Nothing much has changed. I assume it just breached out. Oh, okay. Big gap. That was the earnings, yeah. Yeah. So I think we closed here after post earnings and we've breached out, which is pointing towards going back into the 96 area. It's been a good trade. We've liked it since down here, and especially liked it and this candle here. This candle and this candle were both pretty big deals. So congrats if you're in it. Well done. Very nice. Let's move over to commodities just quickly before crypto. Gold, mediocrity at best. Nothing much going on there. Mostly looks bearish. If you came into this chart, you'd say bearish, bearish, bearish. As I've said many times before, it's stuck in the middle of nowhere land. You can't really be bearish or bullish necessarily on it. Silver tried to breach 2260 today. Couldn't close above. Pretty significant that it couldn't do it. 8 hour held it back, which is good because it means that you can use this time frame still to look for closures. Silver actually could be predetermined, I guess, leaning in against gold. It actually looks better at this stage. Resistance 2260, still need that broken. US oil right back in there. Day trade wouldn't have been too hard here. So we got that mass false break to the downside, came back, breached through. Now we go back towards 73. I'm excited for 73. Anyone else excited for 73? 73 breach could be amazing on this. VIX is back to 21, which means fear is coming out of the market. All of the markets looking much better. We ended up not doing Tesla, but look, with Tesla, we know where it is. 900. 900 gets hit by support. Buyers have come back in, and we're at that downward trend line as well. We'll do the coverage of Tesla later on in the video. Don't worry, we'll do that. BTC 48.6. Let's take a look. 8 hour BTC. First good sign is here. We have base, resistance break. We're still on this downward trend. You'll notice we have a nice, nasty shooting star or pin bar here with no follow through. What we would like to see Bitcoin do, smash that. It's already done the first stage of something good looking happening. Smash this out, close above 52K. We'll see how we deal with that zone. But I think all we need to do is get above here. Much, much better. The last 24 hours have really started to look good here for this. Same with Ethereum. If we look at the daily, the story is relatively compelling. Wick purchasing across the board. Nice bullish hammer. Looks like we're going to close a nice green day. Could see some follow through from that. Similar downward trend, similar resistance that we're on. Decent story on the left-hand side. And it goes across most. Things like DOT and other cryptos, much, much weaker, but they are all showing kind of base formations. If we have a look at ADA, it's similar as well. Big base, currently in a downtrend. Nothing good looking about this right now. We do know also that when you're in a downtrend like this, ascending or descending triangle, if you breach the vertical, which is here, first stages of recovery. So bam, bam, bam. Things are looking better. First time I could say in a while that the crypto is actually starting to look good. Thank you very much, SM. Appreciate that. And here, Hoite 7. Good luck, Diz. Andre says, yesterday I was poor. Today I am rich again. I don't know if that's a good thing, man. And then he goes, hey. Are you going to be like that guy that comes in and goes, BitConnect? Don't tell me, Andre. I don't want to know about that. No BitConnect for us. Heute, or as I said, it means heute, German for today. Oh, really? Thank you very much. I'm learning stuff here. Warren, thank you for the translation there. I'm Australian, okay? I have slang. We have a lot of slang here in Australia. Durgesh really wants to look at Barber. We looked at it before, Durgesh. but thank you for the $2. Nothing really has changed since yesterday's discussion. We look for a breach here. Yes, I know it's up, but what you really need is some form of lightning bolt, some form of rejection to show that it wants to continue to hold up. It's not my favorite. I know you're stuck in it, and that's why you're asking about it. But yeah, daily 20, breach that level. You can maybe have a slightly happier face, okay? Coming into Christmas. I hope you do. All right. Well, that's really it. The daily 20 and that resistance. So all the crypto is looking better. We still wait for Bitcoin to solidify its position. But you saw with crypto, the Bitcoin, the Ethereum, they're starting to look a lot better. Yep. And he says, I hope to, mate. Yes. Monica says, oh boy, yes, I'm not always sure about the meaning of some of the slang. Yeah, I do have some slang. I need to get rid of that. We will do this. It'll be the new thing. Metaverse crypto to buy now, Tom. I don't even know where that is. I've never even looked at the metaverse crypto. Is that even, can I search it like this? This one? MVI or something? Sounds ridiculous. I don't know anything about it though. I'm only interested in networks. I assume it is a network-based coin, so it probably is okay. Reese says, Australian slang, are you chuffed today? I never use chuffed to bits or something like that. Chuffed to bits. Is that actually an Australian slang? Or is it English? I'm not sure. Diz says, Tom, what do Aussies call Americans? Well, I guess we would use a lot of Australians will say, is it the word Yanks, I think? I don't know. I don't use that word. Chuffed is more English. Yeah, that's right. All right. I think I better stop reading that chat. So to summarize today's action, it's pretty good. I'm happy that it's recovered for you guys. I'm happy that what we suspected was going to happen happened. I think we did some stellar analysis together yesterday. We recognized that straight up. I mean, there's no way we didn't see it in the close. The reason we focus on the close sometimes is we saw it yesterday. I mean, it was super coming through. It was super. We know it was. You guys know it was. We saw the base. You saw Wall Street literally grab it yesterday in live time. And that's why coming in for 20 minutes near the close every day, especially around high volatility when you're interested in the market, can pay off. Let's have a look at the sectors that did well through the session. I'll bring up some of the mains. There's plenty of stocks, a lot of opportunities. I really think a lot of opportunities in hypers. Don't get caught up in love with one stock, though. If you're in love with a stock, it means you should invest in that stock. And that's how you should look at it. If you're trading, you go to quality and you just basically look at something and you go, damn, that's a good trade. Semiconductors up 3.71, energy coming back hard 2.89, and the all-important evil defensives are down here. Utilities and consumer staples down, showing a move to risk on again. Even consumer discretionary was up for a nice day. So across the board, it was very green. A lot of tech sectors did better. You notice it wasn't necessarily led by the FANG either. It was fairly broad, and it was coming in big for IWM, which is, again, a great sign. PK Subbin says the weed stocks and PLT are killing me. Well, there's two things that are similar in those. One's built on hype and the other one's built on hype. PLTR is probably a bit more solid. The problem with weed stocks, they burn cash out of control. And I mean out of control. Greg Hartman says, fair dinkum. That's right, fair dinkum. Someone that watches, obviously, the bikes. Casey Stoner equals Australia's heroes. If you watch the bikes. I was originally from Phillip Island, so yes, I don't mind a bit of Moto GP. It's chockers in here. That's definitely one, Doctor. Chockers is a big word. All right, guys, you have a fair dinkum day. And I hope everyone does well. We'll come back with a video a little bit later. I'll pop that out of the YouTube. Thanks so much for subscribing. Thanks so much for giving us the big thumbs up. It does help us out on the channel. Everything's looking better across the board. That's great news. Let's hope it can continue on. Don't be surprised for a small downtick tomorrow, should it occur. You've got your levels for the US 500. We'll put it in the daily video as well. IWM 220, 220, 220 should be an interesting zone. And past that, 226, 226. And past that, cool. That would be great. So I'm happy for it. It's exciting. US 10-year is up. Some people may point to this. It's not up enough. So while the US 10-year is up, it's not up enough. We don't really worry too much about the US 10-year until it gets past 1.75%. And also bonds are continuing to struggle here, which is showing, again, further movement potentially into risk on assets. Remember, what the bond market does can sometimes be a precursor for the markets when we're looking at it. We don't put all of our eggs in that basket, but certainly it's come down from its recent breakout over here. Cool. Thanks so much, guys. See you in the next one. Bye for now. Actually, I want to look at one last thing. Where is this ARK-K? All right, fantastic. Looking better as well. So all the ARK funds are looking much, much better. And that's because they're in Cathie Wood's, inverted commas, deep value. Deep value, guys. Only 700 PE ratio. Deep value. Catch up. Bye for now.